An important aspect of writing good emails is using netiquette. And you've probably heard that word. It is a combined word of network, thinking online, and etiquette, being polite, being respectful, being civil, following the rules. And so when you are writing, you want to think about etiquette, and make sure that you are writing things that are appropriate, that you are being civil, that you're being respectful, and that anything you write is appropriate. And so this particular website that I'm looking at, you can Google netiquette, and you can find just a wide assortment of sources that talk about workplace civility, email civility. But some of the things to think about is think about who you're writing to. If you're writing to just one individual, then think about what they know and what they think and what their status is and what their relationship is to you. If you're writing to multiple people, then you have an even broader task to think about who those people are and what their roles are and all of the things that come into play in your relationship with all of those different people. Remember to always be formal and be respectful in email. Think about not so much what you want to say as what the reader needs to hear, what the reader needs to know. Many times when we're writing, all we think about is ourselves and our own perspective and what we just need to get out and say to the other person. But think about the time that they have and what you're asking of them and maybe when you're sending the email. And, is it after hours? Are you catching someone off guard with a problem? Just all of those things that you need to think about. And so remember that you want to be formal and you want to be respectful. Always greet the person appropriately and end the email appropriately. When it's appropriate, ask about a situation. Frame your situation as a question rather than a demand or a command for your reader. Try to be respectful and to be civil, to use proper manners in your writing. Remember that you may not be the only your reader may not be the only reader of an email, that it can always be forwarded. Once you send it, it's out of your hands, and that reader can do anything with it. And so if you say anything inappropriate in an email, it might go higher up than you intend it to go and might go to a variety of readers. And so always think about what you're writing and how you're saying it. Make sure that you use a reasonable subject line, that you make it clear in that subject line what it is you're talking about, so that the reader can skim and find that subject line again. The reader knows how to prioritize what it is you have written about, what it is you are asking for. Try to be clear and concise. Don't take more time than is necessary. Your reader has to read this and process it, and so give the information that's necessary for him or her to understand the situation, but don't go into more detail than is necessary. You might realize when writing it that the reader needs more information than you want to put in the email. Then maybe the email isn't the best way to deal with this. Maybe you need to speak to them on the phone or speak to them in person instead. Try not to be too emotional in an email. If you're writing about something that you're upset about, then give it a little bit of time for that to diffuse, and Give yourself some time to process the situation. So all of those are some very valuable tips on writing. You also might think about just conflict resolution. What if there's a conflict and you're trying to get some help? Then what is it exactly that you're asking for? What is it exactly that you want? Don't call names. Try not to be overly critical. Don't ever accuse your teacher of being unfair. Instead, think about your feelings. What is it you're feeling? And express those as I statements, that I felt this way in class when something happened, or I feel this way in response to something that happened. But try not to be accusative. Try not to be sarcastic. Don't use all capital letters. Again, try not to be angry. And so here is an excellent page showing some uncivil uses of email: calling someone out, forwarding without consent, trying to settle a conflict rather than addressing it in person. So some valuable tips on being civil, being respectful, being kind, being thoughtful in your emails.